Hello, my name is Njoroge. I'm the founder of Beating Mental Health Stigma. We are located in Nairobi, Kenya, and our main focus is normalizing mental health to reduce mental health stigma. A little background on us: we started as the Youth Against Suicide Initiative. After a lived experience in surviving mental health conditions, we came together as a small group of students and create. We came together as a small group of students to create mental health awareness and connect people with the resources that they needed through a person-to-person approach, where we will approach a person and just ask them how they were doing and get to know a little more about them, and then connect them with the resources that they may need. This was very successful, and we were able to stop over 100 suicide attempts, which I personally like to call empowering 100 life choices. However, we found that this method only helped those people who are at the point of crisis, and we wanted to expand our reach, and that led to the formation of Beating Mental Health Stigma. Today, I was lucky enough to get invited by Becky to talk to you guys, and I want to focus on stigma, its evolution over time, and how what we're doing here to combat it. It is true, a few years ago, Kenya's level of stigma was at an all time high, with mental health ailments associated with curses, witchcraft, and a hundred other myths that didn't make sense. Because the solutions at the time were limited to one countrywide mental health hospital, religious and traditional remedies. So it made sense that by then there was a lot of mental health stigma. I like to refer to this as general stigma, where people just came up with myths or things that they could refer to be able to explain mental health conditions. Thankfully, we are a very long way from that, and it's because of the stellar work conducted by my predecessors in the mental health field. And now, in most urban areas, people are aware of the details about mental health, and some conditions such as depression and anxiety are very understood by the population, and even encourage others in the community to go seek help if they're encountering such problems. There are also designated hospitals that offer mental health services, at least in each county, which is a very, very nice step towards progress in the mental health field in Kenya. Right now, the general stigma is only limited to rural areas or subsets of people still relying on outdated religious practices and beliefs. Yes, some work still needs to be done, but I'd like to commend the work already done in that field to reduce that form of stigma. However, in our practices, we are continuously encountering another form of stigma, which is causes more of a detriment to mental well-being than the general stigma. This is the personalized or internalized stigma. You find that yes, people are aware that their mental health is important and campaign for access to resources for the community. However, when it hits home or close to home, we have found that people have internalized the stigma, and this delays their efforts to seek help. It also shows up when it's a close friend or family. As we know, the caretakers and loved ones are more likely to observe the signs and symptoms first, and then refer to the person going through something for help. But then now there is a delay. We find that yes, they are observing the signs and symptoms. Yes, they can tell that this is what the mental health awareness broadcast was talking about, that this is what a form of depression may look like, but we find that they are causing a delay. The delay is in admitting that this is a person close to me and he may be going through a mental health ailment, a mental health issue, and a mental health condition. Yeah. And this in turn, like this is demonstrated through comments such as we were not raised that way. A person just copes and struggles through, like struggle through it, you'll make it in the other end. Struggle through until you're better. What reasons do you have to be depressed? I am going through the same thing as you. Why are you depressed and I am not? Yeah, we know you very well. You've always been like that, but you've always overcome this. See, even if some of these statements may be very encouraging, it tends to brush off the fact that mental health conditions can exist and it's normal to go through them. This for us was very alarming, as the message on mental health awareness is very well received in public settings, but the crossover to embracing it individually does not happen. Um, and then this is where we decided to approach it in three major ways, because More people are focusing on the general stigma, which is good because more work needs to be done. But we decided to choose to focus on the individualized and personalized stigma. Number one, we approach the problem by normalizing mental health and all its tiny aspects. Just like physical health, how there is big conditions and there are also relatable conditions such as the cold. When you have the cold, I'm sure everybody has had the cold, or you know how to cope with a cold, or we pass cold remedies over from each family to another, from one generation to the other. We are trying to kind of show people that these experiences in mental health are kind of similar. We try to create awareness by citing relatable daily experiences that can explain stress, anxiety, depression. We are trying to normalize it. When we talk about you go to work every morning and you come home, or the Nairobi traffic is very bad, and you have to think about what your boss has to say. You're thinking about the projects you haven't committed to yet, the projects that are yet to be finished, and these things stress you, and this is how you can be able to deal with them. That's normalizing mental health conditions to be something that's very relatable, something that someone can go like, oh yes, I understand that, I've gone through that, I've lived through that, and when I did this and this, it improved. And we find that that way people are able to participate and be able to give us feedback and also be able to engage, because now it's broken down not to a big thing about mental health, but a very relatable thing which they can be able to communicate and actually pass on that information to the next person. um, our efforts in that is mostly through social media and person to person again. Such efforts include our ongoing campaign for the Post Suicide Awareness Day. Yes, we all know about suicide and we agree something needs to be done. Our posts are about what one can do to ensure their well being and that of others to avoid getting to those points of crisis. We give you the power. We are able to kind of describe situations such and a simple thing such as choose you, be the best version of you you want to be. Best version of you want to be will include this and this and this. You'll have to make commitments, you'll have to make some sacrifices for yourself, but that is the best version of you to be. And if you need help in that process, when you feel down and stressed, just reach out to us and we will be able to help you. Such campaigns is what we find ourselves doing. We also go into the community and find out what resources are available for them and how different members have coped with all kinds of situations before. Consequently, we combine our expertise and their communal practices to create coping mechanisms or healthy, accessible resources to the community itself. We go and observe the community setting. We use our educational expertise and encourage the community members to speak out on how they've coped with this method, with these conditions or ailments before, and we are able to kind of co-create a solution with the community, and this helps bring power back to the individual as they can take part in co-creating the solution itself. It's something that affects them and they feel that they have been empowered to be able to kind of combat this issue, and it's more of their opinions are being heard and their opinions can be expressed and we are able to move forward together. Thirdly, we also go into educational centers and engage learners in fruitful discussions on the current and possible future states of mental health countrywide and globally. We hope to build a culture in where the society is open to discussing mental health like physical health, and people can seek help, advice, or feel free to check themselves into a hospital when they feel unwell and society supports them in their decision. Just like physical health, when somebody is going through something, how society rallies behind them. We are a very communal group and we rally behind somebody who's going through something and help them get the access to the best resources. That is what we hope to do in these high schools and universities. We are creating spaces where it's okay to talk about mental health. It's okay to bring up topics. It's okay to question the status quo. And it's also okay to suggest building blocks that we can do both individually, as a community, as a country, to be able to kind of normalize mental health and embrace the opportunities out there, the resources that are out there, and how we can be able to build them for a better tomorrow. Yes, those are the main methods that we have used to combat personalized stigma. We are very open to cooperation and research because we believe that going into community specific, individualistic methods to combat mental health stigma and also to embrace mental health as a topic are very, very helpful in the long run. And we really hope that this method can be adopted all over the world and be able to co create sustainable solutions between the experts and the community itself, because these are the methods that will be embraced by the community since they come from the community. um, I hope you learned something or had something that was of help, and I am open to any feedback that any of you has. Thank you very much for listening, and I am so thankful for being able to take part in this presentation. Thank you and goodbye.